Hello, good evening from Points West. The launch of a new bus route through Bristol came to a sudden halt this morning. Traders on the busy Gloucester Road say peak time bus lanes are ruining their businesses. It wasn't the best start for the latest attempt to get us back on the buses.
No less than 3 MPs at today's launch to persuade us all to get back on the buses. And it was all going so well, but 15 minutes later, this. A host of protesters on the Gloucester Road, including shopkeepers angry at new bus lanes.
It's gridlock. The bus lanes are causing gridlock.
And what about the old people who can't get on their buses to go to Broadmead? They need us local traders. It's a whole community they're destroying.
The bus lanes mean people can't park. Retailers say that's losing them passing trade. But the council says it's built a new car park as a compromise and points out the bus lanes are peak times only. Controversy then on the first day of this high-tech route. £2 million has been spent on new buses, £3 million on shortcuts and traffic light technology that should improve what was Bristol's most unreliable bus route. This shopkeeper thinks it's money wasted.
There's nobody on the bus, as you can see, and this is rush hour. So God knows what it's like during off-peak times.
But the authorities say they've got to invest. Bus use must increase by 10% in Bristol by 2010.
The beneficiaries are ultimately the people of Bristol as we improve the public transport, reduce the number of cars on the road and make sure that when you get a bus in the morning and you want to be somewhere within half an hour, you are, and it can stick to its timetable.
As well as reliability, it's hoped the buses will be safer. There's CCTV on board. It's needed on this route. On Tuesday, a bus was shot at by some kind of gun or catapult.
2 windows go through. The later bus, passenger was injured, shot at, basically. But it's not a one-off incident anymore. This thing is a general day-to-day problem.
What matters most in the long run are the passengers, and only time will tell if £5 million is enough to make more of us go by bus. Scott Ellis, BBC Points West, Bristol.
A father of 3 from the West has been shot dead in Africa. Philip Needs, who was originally from Western-super-Mare, was killed in Lesotho. It's believed he was working on a business deal there. Close relatives have flown out to comfort his wife and children. A radical idea to stop drug addicts falling back into a life of crime after leaving prison is being tested in Bristol. The city is one of only 4 in the country to be chosen by the government to pilot the experiment. It involves putting addicts together under one roof at a special hostel.
Bristol has the 3rd highest drug-related crime figures in England, with more than 4,000 heroin and crack cocaine users. Now, persistent offenders with no convictions for violence or sex, and who have proved to be drug-free in prison, will be housed here at Devon House in Easton for 3 months.
They will all be people who have a history, however, of drug-related offending, but who, whilst in prison, have come off the drugs and want to remain drug-free following their release back into the community.
They've got to go somewhere. I'd have some concern because this is an area where you can get burglaries, and often these burglaries are motivated by the need to fund the drug habit.
I think that's fine as long as they do it properly and it's done in a responsible way. I think that's absolutely fine.
When this building was formerly used by the probation service, it was often visited by violent ex-prisoners and sex offenders. The police are confident that the local community will now be much safer.
The community does suffer from a drugs problem and a crime problem within Bristol. This is a scheme where we're going to get people who currently come out of prison and who find themselves homeless very quickly into accommodation with 24-hour support built into the building so that they will not go back into drugs and will not go back into crime-related offending.
A planning application for the project will go before the City Council in February. Steve Brady, BBC Points West, Bristol.
Well, finally, Concorde the video has landed, and in just the first few hours of it going on sale, several thousand of you have bought a copy. It contains the best of our coverage of her incredible story and her final journey home to Filton.
The West's love of Concorde was shown in force today when thousands of people queued to be the first to get their hands on the special video. Demand was overwhelming. Printing at 250 an hour, we just couldn't produce them fast enough. This video includes all of Points West coverage, plus some previously unseen footage for just £10. What makes it so special is that the BBC video is the only one on Concord where all the proceeds will go towards building a new home for her at her birthplace, Filton.
Well, a wet day like this reminds you of the urgent need to get her under cover where everybody can see her comfortably, and this video and the CD are going to be a magnificent start towards getting the whole thing rolling.
The historic moments of Concord's life and momentous last flight were captured for this video by the BBC with the backing of Airbus UK, Rolls-Royce, BAE Systems and the Bristol Evening Post, who are helping to distribute it. An order form will be printed in the paper tomorrow. You can also write to Concord Video, PO Box 195, Bristol, BS 99 7HD. Please enclose a cheque for £12 payable to Concord Museum Appeal. That includes postage and packing. BBC Radio Bristol have also produced a CD featuring John Turner's special live broadcast from Filton on the day Concord came home. That costs £6 and is available from the same address, which you can also find on page 170 of CFAX. Simon Mawson, BBC Points West.
And it was great to see so many of you down here to collect your copy. Hope you enjoy it. But that's all from us for now. We're back over the weekend. But for now, from me, bye-bye. Back to London.